Hi Trinkets, my name is Abby from AB Tarot Reading, and in today's video I'm going to talk to you about 5 child-friendly tarot decks. I tend to be a little bit liberal in how I introduce spiritual topics to children because I believe like spirituality is the human experience. So the sooner we make children comfortable with their own spirituality, with their spirit guides, their spirit team, to know that they have some and to begin that line of communication, I just feel like that's giving them like the early tools that they need in life to make wonderful decisions, much better decisions, and just kind of gets them prepared. And I personally, because I'm a tarot reader, no biased, I think introducing children to tarot can be a wonderful way to just kind of give them a tool, give them something that they can play with and use and start to understand the human experience. My criteria for which cards I selected, I wanted to make sure that they were G-rated cards. I wanted to make sure there were either no violence or very like bit, because while I understand that violence is the part of life, I don't want to dip deep your child into it just yet. Maybe some other make sure that these were economical so that they weren't super expensive, because as much as we love children having cards, chances are pretty good they're going to destroy a card or two. I want to make sure that they're easy to replace, for instance. So some of them are a little bit more on the economical end, some of them are a little pricier, so it depends on which one you think is best for your kiddo, right? I also wanted to make sure there was no bums and boobs. I also wanted to make sure that the Ten of Swords card in the tarot deck wasn't too violent. So there's one that's kind of on the edge, so I'll let the moms make, or the parent, the choosing parent or the grandparent, make that choice as to if it's appropriate or not for their kiddo. You will know your kiddo best, right? And you'll get to decide. When is it a good time to introduce your child to tarot? Basically, whenever you get introduced to tarot, like why not go ahead and share with them a set of cards? Why not give them a set of cards? They, for instance, they see mommy or daddy having their own little private personal practice. Why not give them a set of cards so that they can pull a card too and kind of learn a little bit about the meaning of their card, even if it is purely just meaning. Or maybe you want to have your kid kind of think about what kind of day they want to have, and you can pull a card to kind of see what's it little help take the mystery out of the set of cards, and they're also going to be curious, so why not? Let's go ahead and hop into the cards. Let's hop into the cards. Let's start off with the Everyday Witch Tarot. Now, this tarot deck is by Barbara Blake. It is a mass market produced deck that is super cute. Like, I recommend this deck to older people because it's that damn cute. So I'm going to show you some of the cards, and it's colorful. It's easy to I didn't even know I was upside down. It's easy to understand. It's easy to engage with. I find personally that it is a spot-on easy read, and it does come with a nice thick guidebook, so if your child is older and they're a bit of a reader, they'll have more than enough information. I didn't know these were in reverse. They'll have more than enough information to kind of understand the meaning of these cards, as in how the book reads it, but also how the card looks. So as a Four of Cups, I believe your person could like identify with that youngin' and looking at dad, and like that feeling of what that kid is probably going through is, to me, exactly what the Four of Cups is about. So that, it just, to me, it's so easy. It lands so well. Like, this would be a wonderful set of cards for a youngin'. And youngin' being relative. Be it 5 years old or 15 years old, this feels like a deck that's usable on anywhere on that spectrum. So if your kid can look at it and understand the images that are being seen here, like obviously if your child is 2, it's going into the mouth and it's probably not going to be read. But if your child is maybe 5 or 7 or 6, 7, 6, or 12, whatever the works. My 14-year-old got his first deck a couple of years ago, and it's only because a couple of years ago I started doing the business of getting tarot cards and selling them en masse. So it's like, yeah, you want a deck? Dragon tarot cards it is. So we got him a dragon set, so that's awesome. So if your child can understand images, just kind of see and notice that there's a kitty, or that there's trees in the background, or that she's holding something that she's really excited about, she can read tarot. He can read tarot. What else do I have to say about this deck in particular? I find that this is an inexpensive deck, so it's less than $30. I believe I paid like $23, $24, $25 for this set. New. And it's flexible. I do have one card that has a little bit of like fold damage. I don't know if we can see it. There you go. It has a little bit of fold damage, so just to kind of give you an idea of what happens to the imagery when it gets a little used. But if so, I guess what I would say maybe a 4-year-old won't necessarily, this won't last for a 4-year-old, but for like a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, or somebody that's like really interested, I think they would be okay with having this set of cards. Now, I do know that some parents don't like witchy associations, so one of the cards that I have in here, or two of the cards that I have in here, actually don't have any witchy associations to them, and can be really, really useful if you just don't want to kind of go there. Because some parents are super like, meh, whatevs, and others are like, I don't want to do that. Totally understand. Or maybe you have like parents or grandparents that might be a little, nervous. So here's another deck that has no witchy associations and is upbeat. It's cute. It has no bums and boobs and is economical. So this is the Happy Tarot by Serena. I'm going to say Fica. Serena Fica. So let me show you this deck. This one's also a mass market deck that's easy to find. I don't believe it has a price on this one. I would anticipate this to be less than $30. Definitely probably more in the $25, $27 range, depending on where you buy it. And so these are cute and freaking adorable. Like, this is the Nine of Swords. Now, I know that Nine of Swords is often about like anxieties or things of that nature. That looks like a sad little girl. Like a young person looking at this card, I think they could understand this picture of her not feeling good or being sad or maybe having a bad dream. And that's an excellent way to describe that card to a kiddo. And so this card is often the card that makes parents a little questionable and kind of not okay. Explain this is like when you have children who really, really, really like video games or really, really, really like candy. When they have that they could do anything or would do anything for candy. That's that feeling of doing anything for something, is how I'd probably explained it. And even the Five of Pentacles, it's not super like detrimental, I think, to a child's well-being, but I do think that they would totally empathize with grandma and the youngin and how cold it looks like outside. That is the feeling of these cards. Is by Bob Smitty's and Natalie Merkai, and this is the Young Witch Tarot deck. Now this one is a Rider-Waite-Smith clone, is how I would describe it, but it has a few interesting features. So it does come with a guidebook. This set in particular, super easy, it's super flexible. The cards are also plastic, so you can take it into the tub. You could have bath time with tarot cards. You can have them play with them outside, play with them at the table, and they're not going to die, which is awesome because most of all these other decks are paper. So this has a nice feature of being plastic. Now these are Rider-Waite-Smith clones, so the bums and boobs have been edited out. If I could get to one that probably would have one. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Where's one's? Okay, the Lover's card. Now, the standard Rider-Waite-Smith card tends to have bums and boobs, but this one has this one has a dress and a mini skirt on the young man. Just to kind of give him a little bit of presentability. So the entire deck, again, Rider-Waite-Smith clone, but it has some details edited into it or edited out of it. Also, to kind of aid in understanding the card, each card has a tiny little poem down at the bottom that can help the child learn what that particular meaning of the card is. So like this one, this is a chariot. Ride upon your chariot, swiftly now, full speed ahead. Don't let your thoughts drift left or right. Be the leader, don't be led. So it's so cute. How awesome would that be for a, right before school starts, we pull a card and what do you need to know? And you shuffle and what do you need to know today? Or what is something, what do you need to have a great day? And pull that card, and then that kiddo can, even if it's just for then, keeps that card in a little special spot so that they can think about it right before they leave, kind of sets their intention for the day. And even if they don't think about it for the rest of the day, when they come back, they might be able to like, oh yeah, and have those aha moments there. So it's just a start. It's just a start to Blake. This has a soft texture box that has a magnet closure as well, so it keeps itself together nicely and easy to store. Easy to store. I do like easy. So the next deck I have for you is a interesting one. And so a deck that is easily and wildly accessible, that doesn't have bums or boobs, is economical, but also interesting. So I have the Wild Unknown, and I say this deck in particular because this would be more for like 12 and up maybe kids, or 10, 11, like your more mature youngins. And I say that because of the imagery and the style and the artwork in this particular deck still feels accessible and willing to learn. Now, things like this, I think, would be better for an older youngin, but I still feel like we can all know what that is. We can all learn what that is, and without detriment or hardship or any pain or any undue stress, let's say. So I think I will get people who maybe don't agree that the Wild Unknown is included in these 5 cards or tarot decks for children, but I think this could be one. I think it could be one. So the Death card again, this is Death, yeah. That, I mean, again, if it's a young person, I think it could be distressing, but if it's a little bit older, like my son could look at that and be just fine. I would totally be okay and comfortable handing this to a mature 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 14-year-old, obviously any of the teenagers. I would be totally comfortable with an older child having this deck. Hell yeah. It comes in a 2-part rigid box, or at least my edition does. I know that they even have tins now. They even have tins. And it comes with a guide sheet, so it's super easy to kind of like take a quick read, take a quick gander to understand the information. And I do know that they do have a guidebook. I don't know if I guess if you get a kit, it's the guidebook's included. If you get just the tarot deck, then you have the guide sheet. The last deck that I have for you is a little bit more of an expensive deck, but it is such an adorable set of cards that I think everybody should have this one in their collection. So this is the Playful Heart Tarot by a woman whose nickname is Kitten Chops, and this set of cards is just cute. It is just cute. So I lean this in for, again, I would say not like 5-year-olds, but definitely like 10, 12 and up. Because I think anybody that looks at these cards would be able to look at them and kind of understand the feeling of that card. That looks like a happy card. So what is that? That's the 9 of Cups. That's a lot of happy card, right? And so this is the Death card. For a Death card, that is amazingly benign. So I love that. I love the saturation. I love the bright colors. I love how it feels. This is the Knight of Wands, and he's super gusto, right? It seems like these are easy concepts to explain, and if they aren't, then it gives you kind of like that moment to have those conversations with your child about what this means. So this is the Page of Swords. Does that remind them of maybe a bully at school? Does that remind them of somebody that they don't like? You know, when you're pointing at someone, how many fingers are pointing at you? There's so many opportunities and ways that you can start to kind of like integrate tarot into your life or into you and your child's life, that I find it just like, why not? Why not? These cards in particular are linen finish, so they're a little bit more durable than, say, for instance, the Everyday Witch Tarot. They seem to be a little bit more on the water resistant side, not plastic like the other one is, but they're coated. They're really nicely coated. We have Playful Heart, we have Wild Unknown, we have the Young Witch Tarot, we have the Happy Tarot, and the Playful Heart rounds us out. So these are Everyday Witch, let's not forget that one. So these are my picks for easily accessible, child-friendly tarot decks that I think would be a wonderful introduction to tarot, that are economical, no bums and boobs, and a few that are non-witchy, just in case that is a deal breaker for you. I hope you enjoy this video. Leave me a comment on what deck you would like to give to your niece, or give to your daughter, or give to your curious son, or give to a child that you think would benefit from these cards. Tell me which deck you like the most. I would love to hear that from you. So thank you so much for coming to hang out with me, and I look forward to seeing you again. Bye.